So today was the start of free agency in the NHL, and the Sharks were very active. They made two big signings and one small signing. Just wanted to get a video out there talking about this before the World Cup games today. Go USA. So let's talk about it. They signed winger Mason Marchment, they signed defenseman Jacob Trouba, and they signed goaltender Eric Comry. And we're going to start by talking about winger Mason Marchment. So this was for 5 years, $7 million AAV. What do I think about this contract? I have no problem with the $7 million, and I like Mason Marchment as a player. The problem is I think 5 years is a little long, given how old this guy is going to be, and we're going to need to start paying our core. And I think the bigger problem with this contract is the fact that we have this total logjam on forwards now. Our top nine is going to be some combo probably of Smith, Celebrini, Chernyshov, Stenberg, Misa, Graf, Sherwood, Wenberg, and now Mason Marchment. And that would mean the rest of our forwards, we have Tyler Toffoli, Ty Dellandrea, Zach Ostapchuk, Adam Gaudette, and Barclay Goodrow. And I think maybe Ty Dellandrea and Barclay Goodrow will be the odd guys out, but we just signed Ty Dellandrea to a 2-year contract like a month ago. And Barclay Goodrow, he played in 82 games last year, so it's kind of hard to see him full-time being on the bench at least to start the year. So I don't know what our plan is now on offense. I think certainly this makes it impossible for anyone from Nakuda to make the team, because before it was like, okay, maybe one of them could beat out Ty Dellandrea or Barclay Goodrow for a job, but now it's like, is anyone from Nakuda actually going to beat out Adam Gaudette for a job or Zach Ostapchuk? Because the coaching staff absolutely loves him and the GM loves him, obviously. So I don't know what our plan is on offense. We could have Toffoli play on the fourth line, I guess, but that seems a little harsh for a guy who was declining, but still 47 points last year. I mean, he's much more productive than your typical fourth liner, and I don't know if that's the type of game he really plays anyway. So I don't know what our plan is on offense. We have too many guys right now, and I think Greer is sometimes prone to doing this. You know, it's good to have competition. It's good to not just hand jobs to guys for free, but it's also a problem if you have such a logjam that it's impossible for anyone from the CUDA, no matter how they're playing, to make the team, or to even really have a chance of getting any playing time. And as it stands right now, I feel like we have to trade someone from our forwards, and it seems like Sherwood, Wenberg, Mason Marchment, we just signed those guys to contracts, so it's probably not them. Smith, Celebrini, Chernyshov, Stenberg, Misa, way too young. We're not going to trade them. Tyler Toffoli, he has a no movement clause. Who are we trading? And the one that keeps coming back to me is maybe Colin Graf, which would suck because he's a really, really good player and he's very young. But he would be a very valuable asset. Maybe we're going to trade him for Thomas Harley. Maybe we're going to trade him for Nikishin. I don't know. But yeah, just a bit of a weird move, I think, with Mason Marchment. He's a very good player. And again, I don't mind paying him $7 million a year. That's totally fine with me. But it is a bit of an odd signing, I guess. And I think it creates an additional problem for us that Grier's going to have to figure out. At least I hope he does, because this is way too many quality forwards to go into training camp with. All right, so next up was the Jacob Trouba signing. That was 4 years, $8.25 million. That's a lot of money for Jacob Trouba. One thing I want to say about this signing right away is that it annoys the heck out of me when we're discussing on Twitter, like, oh yeah, new signing by San Jose for Jacob Trouba. And all of a sudden, all these guys rush in there with, stat card, look at all the red, 13 percentile, -2, wins above replacement, terrible signing. And I'm sorry, man, but hockey analytics, I think we are not in a place where they can just be boiled down to a player card. There's a lot of these out there that people love to repost anytime anything happens with the player and use that to cite if they're good or bad. And I think hockey is a lot more complicated than that. I don't think it's like baseball where you have very definite numbers that you can use to then create more advanced formulas and more advanced statistics like wins above replacement, like XJAWS, like FIP for the pitcher. You know, that they say that FIP is better than the ERA for pitchers now, and it makes sense. I don't think we have something like that in hockey. I don't think that our analytics have gotten to a point where you can judge a player based on their analytics and make a card out of them and decide if the player is good or the player is bad. I think it's more complicated than that in hockey, and I don't think we're at a place yet where you can do that. That being said, I don't love this signing. I don't mind getting Jacob Trouba, and I don't mind paying him $8.25 million per year. It's not my money, so why would I care? What I do care about is the fact that it's for 4 years. I would have greatly preferred a shorter deal for way more money. And now that may not have been realistic. That may have been there's no way he was going to accept under 4 years no matter what. I would have loved if we could go, hey, Jacob Trouba, we're only going to offer you a 2-year contract, but we're going to pay you $12.5 million a year. He may have gone for that. I don't know, man. I mean, that's $25 million versus 33 on his current contract that we just gave him. 25 after 2 years versus 33 after 4. I mean, he may have just wanted the extra 2 years just for security, and it is more guaranteed money, but I don't know, man. I know everyone would have laughed at us for doing $12.5 million for Jacob Trouba, but who cares? We could afford to do that this year. We could afford to do that next year, no questions asked. I don't know for sure how well this is going to age by years 3 and 4 when we're still paying this guy $8.25 million, and we have to sign Stenberg and Misa and Verhoff and Lynn and all these really young guys that we just drafted, in addition to obviously paying Chernyshov, Smith, Celebrini. All these guys are going to cost a boatload of money. I don't know if we're going to love having all this money bottled up in Jacob Trouba's contract by years 3 and years 4. That being said, he's going to help us right now. I mean, he's still a pretty good player. From reading what Ducks fans said about him last year and just looking at his statistics, his goals and assists, he's going to help our offense, but he's probably going to have the occasional boneheaded play that drives us crazy with players like John Klingberg or in the past like Erik Karlsson. Like, there's going to be some bad plays like that, but he'll be able to play on the power play. He'll be able to run our offense. He's probably going to be a solid 35 to 40 point guy if we're playing him a lot, which we definitely will be playing him a lot. He'll probably be on our top pair with Dmitry Orlov. I like having him on the team next year. I really do. It's just the length of the contract that bothers me. I don't know how it's going to age a few years from now, and I think the one good thing about this contract and the Mason Marchment contracts is this is going to make us a really good team next year, and I'm pretty sure we're probably going to make the playoffs. Don't think we're going to be a cup contender necessarily, but I could see us definitely getting 95, 96 points and making the playoffs next year with Trouba on our blue line, with Mason Marchment. We would have the most stacked top 9, man. It's going to be crazy. But I just don't love the term of either of those contracts, especially the Trouba one. And finally, the third signing today, this just came through. We signed goaltender Eric Comry, who he's been like a backup in the NHL the last couple years, and we already have Askarov and Nedeljkovic, so it's a little bit of a curious signing. He's probably just going to be the AHL guy, so simple enough there, and he'll be the guy we call up whenever one of our goalies gets hurt. But it's worth noting he has not played in the AHL either of the last 2 seasons, so he's probably used to being an NHL guy. Just his numbers were not great last year, so probably that's why we got him for the AHL, got him a little bit cheaper. Yeah, I don't mind the signing. It's fine. No issue paying the guy 2 years, a little over $1 million. I think that's not going to break the bank or anything. It's totally fine. But yeah, so a busy day for the San Jose Sharks. A lot of signings went down. I think there's going to be some sort of trade coming for a defenseman because we just have too many forwards. But I don't hate the signings. I don't love the signings. I'm a little cautious about what's going to happen a few years down the road. And the fact that we now have Sherwood, we have Wenberg, we have Trouba, we have Marchment. In a few years from now, these guys are all going to be in their mid-30s, and they're going to be sucking up $27 million of AAV. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to say real quick about the Jacob Trouba contract. I had a lot of people yelling at me on Twitter because it's like, look, the deal is structured really well. He gets paid a lot the first 2 years, and the last 2 years his salary's way down, so this is good. It doesn't actually matter, guys. The way that they do the cap hit in the NHL for what actually counts toward the salary cap, they take the AAV of the contract, and no matter how it's structured, the AAV is $8.25 million per year. So that's not going to matter in terms of having more money for us to spend. It might matter in terms of trading him if we want to trade him and have a GM who doesn't have to pay him as much money. But the AAV and the cap hit, that will still be $8.25 million. So I just wanted to clear that up because there's a lot of confusion, a lot of people saying, oh, actually the contract's totally fine because of that. And I don't think that saves it. So anyway, I think that covers it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about these contracts down below and what you think we're going to do next. If there's going to be a trade or what. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. And yeah, that's it for now. I'll see you guys next time.